broadcasting live here in the state of Georgia, 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time on this Sunday, May 22nd. Rob Conrad, Heisnear.com. Welcome to the body of Christ across the United States and in the nations of the earth tuning in to the broadcasts, as today's end times are at a clear apex and primed for the nearing start of the 7-year tribulation period. And I am going to jump right into what I've got to speak today. And the prime topic I'll address this morning is the Bible fact that both Israel and the European Union are soon to give legal authority to the Pope of Rome, even over the coming Third Temple. Now, the Third Temple in Jerusalem, according to Bible Prophecies, will be fully built by the middle of the 7-year tribulation period, as Revelation chapter 11, verses 1 and 2 foretell. And Bible Prophecies tell us in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 4, 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 4, that Antichrist, the Pope of Rome, will enter into the newly built temple and sit down in the Holy of Holies, displaying himself as being the high priest over the Jews of Israel, and in fact high priest over the world's people at that point, the middle point, even as he displays himself as being God. That's all in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 4. And the Pope will also, at the same middle point, stop the nation of Israel from carrying out any more animal sacrifices, as Daniel chapter 9, verse 27 foretells. Now I'm leading up to the points in the prime topic I've talked about. I mentioned a moment ago. I'm just setting the stage to lead up to this prime topic of Israel and the European Union soon to give legal authority to the Pope of Rome, even over the Third Temple. And so, as I said, that middle point, the Pope will have such authority, he'll even be able to stop the nation of Israel from carrying out any more animal sacrifices. That's Daniel 9:27. Now, right off the bat, a legitimate question could be asked by somebody as to how could Israel allow anybody, even the Pope, the most exalted man on earth, to be able to execute these major actions in the newly built temple, stopping the sacrifice, entering into it, taking his seat inside the Holy of Holies in the temple. How could Israel allow the Pope, or anybody, I'm talking about the Pope here actually, to just walk right into the nation of Israel, make his way right into the brand new miraculously built Third Jewish Temple, being the most cherished thing to Israel which exists? And why would Israel ever allow the Pope or anyone to have greater control over their newly built Third Temple than Israel itself would have? Well, the concise answer is what I've mentioned twice already, and that is that the Pope will have legal authority to do it. And it will be given to him by both the European Union and Israel itself. I'll talk first about the European Union, and then the second and final category will be Israel. Now, this first category is the European Union literally giving the Pope full authority. In fact, during the beginning of the 7-year tribulation, then Daniel chapter 11, verse 21, Daniel 11:21 states that the Pope will, quote, seize the kingdom by intrigue, which is not referring to Israel, but refers to the kingdom of the end-time European Union. That's today's European Union, the final Euro kingdom. So this clearly confirms, Daniel 11:21, confirms that the Pope will be given the top helm of the European kingdom right at the beginning of the 7-year tribulation period. He will seize the kingdom, the Euro kingdom it's referring to, by intrigue. Now let's go to Revelation chapter 6 verse 2, which correlates exactly with Daniel 11:21 I just read. Revelation chapter 6 verse 2 expands on this, saying that the rider on the white horse at the start of the 7-year tribulation period, being the Pope of Rome on the white horse, will, quote, be given a crown, end quote. That's Revelation chapter 6, verse 2, at the beginning of the 7 years. He will be given a crown, exactly what it says. And so again, both Daniel chapter 11, verse 21, and Revelation chapter 6 verse 2 confirm each other that during the beginning of the 7-year tribulation, which is near to this generation, then the European Union will exalt the Pope and give him a crown, as the EU suddenly places the Pope into the highest position of legal authority over the entire European Union itself. And without question, the Pope and his EU will also have 100% backing of the rest of the world leaders and the United Nations itself, which is already the case at this very moment. In fact, back in November of 2014, the European Union invited the Pope to address the European Union's entire leaders, which was a huge, tangible snapshot to the world of Revelation's false prophet, the Pope of Rome, being Antichrist himself, the false prophet coupled with his Euro kingdom in plain view, together as foretold, with the European Union hanging onto every word and every demand of the Pope of Rome at that meeting in November of 2014. Now, the intriguing part of it all in Daniel 11:21 is that the Pope will have just accomplished the mediating of the 7-year agreement with Israel, foretold by Daniel chapter 9 verse 27, which is something no other world leader has been able to do since 1948's rebirth of Israel. And so this exact scenario foretold in Bible Prophecies that I've just described, of the Pope to be given full legal authority over the entire European Union, is fully spring-loaded right now to take place at the very start of the 7-year tribulation period, or quickly right after it starts. Now here's something else which Revelation chapter 6 verse 2 also tells us, and that is that the Pope will go out conquering and to conquer. That's Revelation chapter 6 verse 2 still. And going out conquering and to conquer refers to the Pope's unmatched world clout in world history at the very start of the 7 years. And it tells us that the Pope's success in domination, in conquering through the first 3.5 years, will not stop, but will succeed increasingly through the entire 7-year period, all the way to the complete destruction through the final 3.5 years. And one more key point about the Pope's coming world authority. I'm still in this first category about the European Union. One more point about his world authority is that Revelation chapter 13 verse 12, key verse, Revelation 13:12, specifically names the false prophet of Revelation, the Pope of Rome, as the world's final dictator. Revelation 13:12. And he'll begin fulfilling his role at the actual mid-7-year point as the world's final dictator when he sits down inside the third temple. And Revelation chapter 13, verse 12 is a very concise, clear verse. Even a 5-year-old kid could understand that the Pope of Rome, the false prophet, is the final world dictator of human history. Antichrist. I'll read just the key phrase in that verse, saying that he, meaning the false prophet, the Pope, will exercise all the authority, not some or part of the authority. Revelation 13:12 says he will exercise all of the authority, starting at the mid 7-year point, which is chapter 13 of Revelation, verse 12. And he'll exercise all the authority starting at the mid 7-year point and through the entire final 3.5 years of the Great Tribulation period. And so all of what I've just said in this first category constitutes how the Pope will be able to legally enter into Israel and into the third temple at the middle point of the 7 years, since he will have been given a dictatorial crown of authority by the EU. That's Revelation 6:2, given a crown at the beginning of the tribulation. And then he will actually exercise all of that authority at the middle point of the 7-year tribulation period. Plus, as I've emphasized, the magnitude of the Pope's clout, along with having the entire international backing of world leaders at the same time, and through the first 3.5 years, will enable him at the middle point to simply march right into the Holy Land and into the temple and suddenly take his seat inside the Holy of Holies in the third temple, which is precisely what 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 verse 4 states will happen. Now here's the second category altogether, the second reason that deals with Israel. And again, the question is, how could Israel ever allow anyone, including the Pope, to enter into Jerusalem's newly built temple? Let's look at it from Israel's perspective. And the Bible prophecies show that Israel itself, just like the European Union I've just described, that Israel itself will literally give the Pope the legal right to do it, to traipse right into the Holy Land and take his seat inside the third coming temple. Now, let me expound on that. Most people today are unaware that this legal right is already in writing and in an actual contract form between Israel and the Vatican, called the Fundamental Agreement. And this Fundamental Agreement, that's the technical title of the contract. The Fundamental Agreement has been in its final stage of negotiations now for about 24 months or so, and could be easily signed off and completed quickly by both Israel and the Pope. So this is the second way, the Fundamental Agreement, in which the Pope will be able to simply walk right into the coming third Jerusalem temple at the midpoint of tribulation, since Israel will have literally given the Pope the legal authority to do it, according to the Fundamental Agreement. And the agreement itself allows the Pope to go anywhere within Israel that he wants, and even to its most sacred landmarks, including the Temple Mount, and allows the Pope to do whatever the Pope wishes to do, including perform religious rituals anytime he wants. At will, the contract states. And you'll also see in that agreement that the Vatican specifically demands that the Pope cannot be challenged internationally by anyone, not even Israel, as the Pope will have legal authority to move at will within the Holy Land, completely unchecked. Even unchecked, as I said, by Israel itself. And as I stated, this Vatican-authored agreement, authored by John Paul II in 1993. This agreement is on the table as I speak, to be signed off by Israel and the Pope of Rome. They're in their final stages. Now, if you go to Heisnear.com, then in the section named The Fundamental Agreement, you'll see an exclusive list of the news stories over the last 10 years or so, which show step by step how this fundamental agreement has developed over the years to its current ready-to-be-signed status. Now, two last comments to end today's broadcast. First is that all of the prophecies are at a verifiable apex right now and ready to start the 7-year tribulation period, which is my purpose for addressing all of this today, for your awareness. And so the very next major Bible prophecy and event which will occur, the next event in Bible prophecies which will occur, will be the actual start of the 7-year tribulation period, according to Daniel chapter 9, verse 27, which is shown also at Heisnear.com in length, with lists of dozens of news stories which confirm this tangible reality today of the tribulation's nearing start. And my last comment to close the broadcast today is that Israel's third temple is a lot closer to becoming a physical reality in this generation than a lot of people are aware of. Again, there's a lot of news and information at the site and in the videos at YouTube, which the videos from myself and this ministry at YouTube, which confirm this hard fact. And in terms of news about the third temple, then a good place to start looking is at Heisnear.com. In the upper left-hand area at the site, you click on the photos of the Dome of the Rock and the model of the third temple. And that will take you to an exclusive section showing the long list of news articles proving Israel's readiness and bold determination to build their third temple. It'll open eyes, that section. Now, brothers and sisters in Christ, everyone listening around the world today, it's not only spring-loaded right now, but it's got a hair trigger.